And it's very important for us to just get a code too. It's very important for us to get on code with people who want to be on code. Our thing is, as black folks, we spend a lot of time trying to recruit people, and it's just too late in the day for that. We don't have time to be recruiting folks because we got to understand this. These white supremacists, man, they're not taking any prisoners. They're not taking no prisoners. Black men, women, and children are in danger. Did y'all see the story I posted up on my Instagram of this 1-year-old little black girl who was adopted by these suspected white supremacists down in Nashville? Matt Barker, I think that's the guy's name. He had a couple of kids. I don't know any details about his other kid, but this white couple, they adopted this black kid, this little black girl, cute little 1-year-old black girl. He dropped one kid off at daycare, but forgot to drop the other one off and left the little girl in the car all day. And the little girl died. And that just broke my damn heart. She died of heat. I mean, he left this little girl in a hot car all day. And the killing thing is, the kicker is, him and his wife didn't get charged for this. And that's the problem I have. Him and his wife did not get charged for leaving this baby in a car to die. Now, I don't want to hear all that. It was an accident. I'll get on that in a minute. Because accident or not, if black people leave their children in a damn car, you're going to jail. Black people are going to get immediately arrested, even if the child don't die. There's stories of black women who left the kids in the car to go apply for a job, and then they get arrested. There's one sister who got thrown under the jail. The kid didn't even die. She needed to get a job. She didn't have no babysitter, so she had the child in the car while she went and tried to get a job, and they threw her under the jail. Black folks, you leave a dog in a car, your ass going to jail. These folks let a baby die in a car. This was in Nashville. Look up the name Matt Barker. I think that's his name. They left this little baby in a car all day by accident. Now let's go to that accident thing. How in the fuck you leave a baby in a car all day by accident? How do you not remember you didn't take the baby out the car? Because they haven't really cleared up how you leave a damn baby in a car by accident. How you not drop a baby off and don't remember you didn't drop the damn baby off. That don't make no sense to me. At a daycare, and also, I know, and I have children, if you go to a daycare or take your kids to a daycare and you don't show up, usually the daycare will call you, right? Who got kids? If you have a school or a daycare you take the kids to and you don't show up, they'll call you. Especially if you pay, usually they'll call and say something. Hey, the baby coming in today? You bringing the baby in today? They'll call you. You did? I don't know how that's a damn accident, how you accidentally forget that you dropped one kid off and didn't drop another kid off. That's complete bull. I mean, all day. You just left the baby in the car all day, but that don't make no sense. What it looks like is, because we got to understand how demonic these white supremacists can be. It looks like these white supremacists will adopt these black kids, put out an insurance policy on these babies, and then all of a sudden the kids have these little accidents. Because you notice all of these black kids being adopted by these white families, there's always some abuse or accidents or something fucked up happening to the black kids. With that Devontae Hart situation, those kids were beaten and abused for years by those white supremacist women until they ultimately killed those babies. I mean, I can just go through case after case after case of black kids getting adopted, then all of a sudden they done died, their organs are missing, they fell off a cliff, they done died in a car. I mean, damn. All of this ain't no fucking coincidence, man. Starved to death, something fucked up happened, and all of a sudden the white family is papered up now. How many of y'all remember that comedian Paula Poundstone? Y'all remember her? She's this weird comedian that was all over the place in the 80s and 90s. She was a hot comic. She was basically the next Ellen. You know, you had these white lesbian comics, and it was Paula Poundstone. She was doing a lot of stuff in the 80s and 90s. She kind of peaked in the 90s. But some of y'all might not remember. Yeah, they said she was drunk and all that. She was a drunkard. But the thing is, she was another one of these white lesbians, big old lesbian, who adopted some black kids. She adopted black kids too. Yeah, a lot of folks don't know those kids were black. See, that's the thing. They don't tell you that. Y'all don't know those kids she had were black. Those were black kids, and she went to court. She got charged for sexually molesting one of the girls, and I think abusing one of the boys. And she took some kind of plea deal. But that kind of fucked her career up at the time. Her career kind of went downhill because of that scandal, those abuse scandals and sexual molestation charges and all that stuff. And that's what they said in court, that she was drunk and she didn't know no better. She was an alcoholic. They did that thing and she got probation. But those were black kids. You understand? So that type of thing goes on for a long time, man. That's why I've never been impressed when I see these white celebrities getting black kids, because I know what the fuck they be doing to them. You see Charlize Theron's black kids, those kids look like they're traumatized. You got the little boy in a dress. Dude. So we can imagine what goes on behind closed doors with these demonic ass folks, man. But do you think it's above a demonic ass white supremacist to put out an insurance policy on an adopted child? They don't give a shit about black people. When have they ever gave a shit about black men, women, and children? You think it's above them to go put an insurance policy on a kid, and all of a sudden that kid had a little accident? You forgot to take the kid out the car? What they gonna lose? What do they have to lose? They ain't gonna go to jail. You know, as a person who believes in white supremacy, they know at this point, at this juncture, you ain't going to jail for killing no black person, even if it's a child. If you got a good enough excuse, oh my God, it was an accident. I made a mistake and left her in the car all day. My bad. No crime here. They know nothing is going to happen. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And some people say, well, how come black folks, we got to take care of our kids, why they going up for adoption anyway? That's because with black folks, the minute you do something minute, your kid gets taken away. Just like Devontae Hart up there with them white supremacists up there in Oregon. The mom was on drugs, yeah. But he was staying with some relatives. And the reason why they took Devontae and his siblings from the relative is because the mom would come visit. So they weren't being abused or anything, but they weren't supposed to be around the mom. And the mom wanted to see her kids, so she would go visit. So then they took the kids away and brought them up to some damn demonic, abusive-ass white supremacists. And they knew they were abusing those kids. See, they never took them away from them old abusive-ass white supremacist women. And they knew. There's so many documents of people telling them these babies are being abused, and they never took them away from them. I'd rather have a crackhead raise them than them. Leave them with the fucking crackhead. Some crackheads know how to function. I'm not saying it's cool to smoke crack, but there's some crackhead niggas who know how to function better than these white supremacists. I have several friends whose mom was on crack. They turned out all right. I'd rather the crackhead have them than child services. Damn. Yeah, really. Child services, nigga, that's like a slave plantation. They be selling them kids off. Because, man, please, they sell them kids off. yeah, you take them. Hell, the black parent might be on crack, but hell, that's better than sending them to a meth head. That ain't no better. We ain't saying crack is good, but I'm saying crackheads are more functional than these demonic white supremacists. Yeah, I heard about that. This white student beat up the black teacher, and the white student didn't even get bail. They let him out of jail. He didn't even have to bail himself out. He beat up a black teacher. Damn near beat him to death. Where was that? In Ohio somewhere? You dig? Well, we in here deep. Man, that's heavy, James. Yeah, I'm not saying we should get on the narcotic at all. You know, that's definitely not a plus. I mean, I stayed with my friend, a good friend of mine as a teen. I stayed with their family when I first moved out. His mother was a crack addict, and they were selling crack out the house. I've lived in a crack house before. You did? But my friend was in high school. I dropped out, but I was staying with them because I didn't have anywhere to stay. So I was staying with my friend and his family, and my friend's mother was a crackhead. And even though she was a crackhead, she was a cool lady. She made sure we ate, made sure kids got up and went to school, did everything she was supposed to do in the daytime, but at night she smoked fucking crack. You did? Man, heavy shit, no? But this is why, we got to have the things, where we have a code, where we have institutions. Yeah, nigga, I lived in a fucking trap house. For real, for real. Hell yeah, nigga, I lived in a band. Nah, it wasn't a band, it was a trap house. It wasn't a bando, it wasn't a bandit, but I lived in a fucking trap house. You did? Man. Yeah, it did destroy a lot. It was already a damaged community, but that destroyed a lot. But the point I wanted to make is that it goes back to my earlier point that those in the dominant society, the white supremacists, they are quickly going to regroup and plan their domination. That's what they do. Let's go back to the 60s, like I said, in Vietnam. What's up, Jacqueline? How are you, beloved? In Vietnam, you had a lot of Klan and white supremacist groups, and a lot of white supremacist groups, they started getting on code after Vietnam, because understand, in the 60s, the white supremacists felt like they took a loss. They lost in Vietnam. They lost during the 1960s civil rights movement, they thought, because now it became mandatory to hire black people for certain positions. It became mandatory to allow black people to live in certain neighborhoods. It became mandatory that black folks had to go to certain schools. So to the white supremacists, the world was falling. Got it? To the white supremacists, the world was falling. So they started blaming, it's the federal fucking government. It's the government that's doing this to me. The government's supposed to be looking, I'm a white supremacist, and the government ain't looking out for me. The government helping them niggers. So the government, you know why? The government is run by Jews. That's where y'all hear all that, the globalist, the elitist. That's where all that talk came from. The evil Jewish empires running the American government. So now we got to go after the Jew government. You understand? The Jew-controlled government. That's where all that Alex Jones, all those code words, y'all got to understand what they mean. See, when Alex was talking all those code words, the Illuminati, the elitists, we saw, those with the third eye open, we saw what he really meant. When they start talking about George Soros and all that, they keep talking about George Soros. George Soros and Black Lives Matter. You understand? George Soros is a code word for Jews. Shout out, if somebody sent me this. And when I mean stop the violence, stop it against other black people. But don't stop the violence if you're going to protect yourself. Where's Paint Toes? Paint Toes, you in here? Is Paint Toes in here? You dig? So that's why they started regrouping, and in the 70s they started to form all of these militia groups, and they started taking aim at the federal government, plotting on taking the government down. And we're seeing the results of that now. The white supremacists, they made a deliberate effort to infiltrate law enforcement, to infiltrate all forms of government. I'm talking about the white extremists. And now the white extremists, they're all the way in the White House right now. They know that Trump is their guy. You dig? So this is what black people have to keep in mind. You always got to keep this in mind. What's up, Kevin Bender? How are you, family?